Welcome to Rotten Gems, where we talk about movies we love that critics did not, and maybe even wish got rejected and then sent to hell by the devil. Let's go! If you're still listening, whether it's on purpose or you were just playing a different podcast and then somehow this one started playing like right after that one ended, but your phone's charging across the room and you're too lazy to go get it right now, well, we thank you. And who exactly is we? Well, let me introduce you to my co-hosts.
I'm Keenan.
And I'm Marcus.
That's right. We're just three straight dudes talking about movies. Because, listener, I know what you're thinking. There's just not enough places to hear the random opinions of three straight men. Well, look no further than Rotten Gems. We got you. And on that note, what's up, guys? First episode.
Yeah, exciting.
Not nervous. Not nervous at all.
I mean, just what I know about podcasts, people usually in the first 5 minutes decide if they're like, okay, well, I've seen enough. So let's hope that, no pressure, guys.
On
We just lost.
On
We
that
just lost
note,
90%.
Perfect. Even better. All right. So today, guys, we're talking about Bedazzled, starring Brendan Fraser and Elizabeth Hurley. And that is Fraser, not Fraser, which I did not know for the longest time, regrettably.
I apologize in advance for all the times I'm going to mess that up today.
Same. Brendan, we love you. We're Fraser heads if you're listening somehow. But
Awesome job on Doom Patrol, if you're listening.
Oh, yeah. I still need to watch that. So if you are listening and you want to keep listening, just know that you will be spoiled. Granted, it's a movie that came out in the year 2000. So here's your spoiler warning for a 20-year-old movie. So Keenan and Marcus, you guys have seen this movie, yes?
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. This was a top tenet of 11-year-old Keenan watching this movie on repeat. And I can definitely see why 11-year-old Keenan enjoyed this movie.
All right. Well, here's a quick synopsis of Bedazzled. This is from Flickster. It says, desperate to gain the affection of a beautiful coworker, Elliot, Brendan Fraser, strikes a deal with the devil, Elizabeth Hurley, a drop-dead gorgeous woman with a wicked sense of humor. In exchange for Elliot's soul, she will grant him 7 wishes, but with each wish, he gets more than he asked for. So let's get to the real question here, and that's, how do you guys think this movie scored with critics? I mean, I know we meet beforehand to discuss the movie that we're going to talk about. Yes.
I would say the critics would probably get this around 50% because I think it's funny, obviously. It's hilarious. But I know that lots of times they're looking for more artsy humor, and this really isn't that kind of humor.
True. I mean, I don't really know what critics were looking for in the year 2000 because I was all of 8 years old. I owned like 15 movies, and 3 of them were Aladdin. Like all 3 Aladdins.
Return of Jafar.
I mean, if I had to guess, I would say high 50s.
High 50s. Marcus, you were the closest here. We're at 49% on Rotten Tomatoes. That's what critics have given this. What's also odd is that it has a 42% audience score. So fans liked it even less than the critics.
Wow, that is surprising.
That is pretty shocking.
And we have a 6 out of 10 on IMDb. That's 6 Big Macs, 6 beautiful sunsets, or 6 bags of cocaine or cocaina out of 10. And out of those reviews on IMDb, that was 95,000 reviews on IMDb. So if we're going by IMDb, it's just certified fresh. And I don't know about you guys, but like I love this movie. So to hear that it's rated poorly is just baffling to me.
To be fair, this movie went up against a juggernaut of a movie that year.
Oh, did it?
This movie that I'm going to reference is just stacked with actors. The #1 movie of 2000, Mission Impossible 2, starring Tom Cruise.
Oh, God. Why? Why do you do this to me?
Hey, I know what the people like.
The people don't like Tom Cruise.
People love Tom Cruise.
Depending on how long we do this podcast, listener, if you're wondering, Tom Cruise is the scum. He's the worst in the world. So you're gonna hear continuous Tom Cruise hate over the life of this podcast.
But he makes some pretty sick ass movies.
But they're all the same movie. Oh, I'm Tom Cruise. I'm gonna run away or to something, and then I'm gonna beat up a guy, but I'm 5'0", so they have to film it in a way to where it makes it look believable. Totally.
All right, this isn't a Hate Tom Cruise podcast.
it's not too late to pivot. All right, guys. Well, first impressions of Bedazzled. So, like, when you first saw it, what was your scenario when you first saw it?
I do not know if I should talk about the first time I saw this again. I was in middle school. This was not an impressive time in my life. I definitely can see why I liked it. I still love it today for different reasons, but I can definitely see why I loved it back then.
I'm gonna just make a wild guess here. 2 words. Elizabeth Hurley?
Oh no, Brendan Fraser.
Oh, okay. For sure.
The Mummy.
For sure, dude. For sure, dude.
Well,
what about you, Marcus?
I was also 11, and I was probably the first time I probably saw this was probably when I was closer to 12, because I doubt I saw it in theaters when it came out. So, but I remember loving it. Obviously, probably pretty similar reasons as Keenan. But honestly, rewatching it, I was like, most of these jokes that are hilarious now definitely would have gone over my head.
Yeah, I remember, like, every time I rewatch this movie, I'm like picking up on another joke I never caught before, and I love movies that are able to do that. I know, like, so I actually didn't see this movie around when it came out. My first exposure to this movie was about, I don't know, 7 or 8 years ago. I just moved out, and I was living with my roommate at the time, and he had this movie, and we were on some Brendan Fraser reason, like
you don't need a reason to be honest.
True. I think we just like watched a bunch of Brendan Fraser movies, and he's like, "Oh, you seen Bedazzled?" And I'm like, no. And I was like, why have I never seen this movie? This is incredible. And so I was like, yes, I need to watch this movie several times. And I have since then. So I've watched it probably over 10 times in the last like 8 years or so. I didn't know actually that it was a remake of a movie. And that was something I found out recently. It's a remake of a 1967 Bedazzled. And oddly enough, that one was directed by Harold Ramis, who also made Groundhog Day, Caddyshack, Analyze This, Analyze That, and another one of our favorites, Year One.
Yeah, I noticed that. I was like, oh, well, we're definitely going to see another Harold Ramis movie.
Is it Ramis? I said Ramis. I'm such an amateur.
I don't know.
All right. Well, I'm pretty sure one of us got it right, so we're gonna do credit to him.
I'll find a third way to pronounce it.
Ramis.
Ramis.
That's
he also is the inventor of Top Ramen.
What moment of silence. Ramen. I mean, he's probably not dead, but
no, he is.
Okay. Do you do moment of silences and times other than the national anthem, or like when people die?
Personally,
I don't think so.
No.
And probably not over podcasts.
That's a good point.
That's what we call dead air.
Dead air. True. Good point. All right, guys. So, thoughts about this movie. So, what's things? We rewatched the movie in prep for discussion of this.
Some
anything
more than
stand
others.
Out to you? Yeah. How many times did you watch this?
I have watched this 3 times in the past 3 weeks and do not regret a moment of it.
You're dedicated.
This movie definitely had a pretty big impact, I feel like, just because I can see myself relating with the character Elliot, just being awkward and being 11, 12 years old during that time. Definitely an awkward time of my life, trying to figure out who you are. And I feel like this movie just has a really good message that just be yourself.
Well, and I mean, so I went to school with Keenan, and I remember there being a year where he was, I'm pretty sure, sold his soul to the devil.
Oh.
Kept going into...
What did he get in return?
Zany adventures.
Big Mac and fries.
An extra slice of pizza in the cafeteria.
Yeah.
It was a waste.
I was young. I didn't know how to use wishes.
Apparently, Brendan Fraser doesn't either.
More viewings of Bedazzled.
You think I would have learned my lesson from it?
So it's
you were 11. You don't understand.
So how old were you guys when you first started going to school together?
We
probably
met in middle school, but we didn't become best friends until freshman year of high school.
So you're like what, 14 or 15?
Around that, yeah.
Yeah.
So okay, it's funny you mentioned like how awkward Elliot is and stuff, because like around this rewatch, I remembered how the beginning Elliot is just so tough to watch. Like when he's like around his coworkers and then like at the bar, he just doesn't clearly understand social cues. Now granted, like for this now probably, but this movie was 20 years ago, and like they just make him out to be a bad guy, but like it's clearly not his fault. And then when Elizabeth Hurley comes into the bar and she's like, "Oh, I know what you do. Like you make your TV dinner and you cry yourself to sleep and wonder why no one likes you." I'm like, is this supposed to be a comedy? Like this is cutting deep.
That
not
is
every night.
Most nights. So it's funny that we're talking about this because I found this piece of trivia when researching the movie, and it says, in longer versions of the film, Elliot was so pathetic that preview audiences squirmed. It was decided that a little went a long way, so it was trimmed down, which I think was for the best. Like in the first few minutes, he's really awkward, and like I know you, I've known you for almost a decade now, Keenan, and you're awkward, but you're nowhere near his level of awkward. So
this is also before The Office, which I feel like Michael Scott definitely is Elliot, toned down a little bit, probably.
That's a good point.
But I just feel like we weren't used to that being in movies to that extent.
Yeah. And like as awkward as it was just a few minutes, and then the rest of the movie was like totally fine.
Yeah, you're right. Once he starts doing like the wishes and stuff, I mean, obviously he does like mishandles wishes, but he's never like unbearably or like not charismatic at all.
Yeah. So like one thought I had when watching this movie is like, and I'm sure everyone has had this thought, like, when he wishes for something and he'll say, I was the most sensitive man in the world. Like right away, oh, this is not going to go
emotionally sensitive.
Right.
So I was going to have fun with that one.
Serious. If you were confronted with an option, how would you word a wish that would make it so that way you like had minimal impact or chances of getting screwed?
I think that's kind of the point. You couldn't, because anything you left out, the devil would take advantage of.
This reminds me of one episode of The X-Files that I've seen. I haven't watched much, but this is one of them where I don't even know the agent. I think it's Scully. He gets a wish but he spends like weeks writing out this wish to make sure it's perfect, and it's still like there's still a loophole. There's nothing you can do to get around these wishes.
Okay, so then I think that actually prompts. I've seen this going around on like Facebook and like meme pages and stuff for like years. But why don't we each say one wish, and then the other told it. So my thought process of how I would want to wish is I would say I would like my life to be exactly like it is now and to progress at its normal pace, but I would like to just find $1 million on the ground that doesn't necessarily belong to anybody, that's not living, that nobody's looking for. Someone just dropped it on accident and they make so much money that they disregarded it. How would you corrupt that?
Well, I think it'd be hard to spend without, spending it a little bit at a time. Because I think it's in like Ozark. Jason Bateman says something about that where it's like all you can really do with that is groceries. Because you can't put it in the bank.
True.
Because then all of a sudden you have $1 million in the bank. The government's gonna want half of that, and then you. What else can you do with it? You can't really make big purchases because again, you got to pay taxes on everything. So it would be nice, but it's for small purchases.
I could see him going the Walter White route, just laundering it through a car wash.
Oh, true. Have an A1 day, guys.
All of our money knowledge is based on shows.
I have yet to watch Ozark. Is it like everyone says it's really good? Am I missing out?
Oh, absolutely. It's great. It's very Breaking Bad like, but with the charisma of Jason Bateman.
I do love some Bateman. All right, what would you guys wish for?
Oof. I was thinking of something pretty similar, but as I was stomping on your wish, I realized that doesn't work.
You hate it. It's clear. I got it. You hate my wish.
I wish I was 2 inches taller.
You wish you were a baller? Nice.
Good wish. 2 inches taller.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, but that's all. But it's all in your neck.
There's no problem. There's no problem with that. You could become internet famous for that. So
long neck, Daddy long neck.
Episode 1, we have a Daddy long neck mentioned. Would you have corrupted it a different way, Keenan?
No, that's exactly where I'm going.
Awesome. All right. What do you got, Keenan?
I don't know, because everything I'm thinking, I can think of a way for it to be corrupted. I feel like Elliot in the movie gets wish number 1 perfect. Just get a Big Mac and large Coke.
Even that was not great because he paid for it himself.
Yeah, I was going to say, he had to pay for it.
I mean, I can afford a Big Mac and Coke, guys.
Yeah, it's just not a major detriment to you.
The only thing she did for him was make the bus be there right then and there. So I guess
that's a pretty big feat. Have you ever had to wait for a bus?
That was the wish. Immediate public transit. Speaking of Elizabeth Hurley, though, she was great in this movie. Just the two of them played off each other so well. This viewing around, when I was like trying to think of what I wanted to talk about here, I remember thinking how many different times she changes in this movie. I was like, they have to have this written down somewhere, and so I looked it up. And yes, they did. She wore 19 different outfits in this movie, and I'm sure she loved every minute of it.
All right, let's count them all out. I'm just kidding. I'm not
yeah. We're not doing that. Do you guys get the song stuck in your head every time you mention her name? Just the wild thing.
Wild thing? Oh, of course. And the song actually... What's that?
Go ahead.
The song actually at the very, very end of the movie, If You Want to Be Somebody Else, I heard that playing. Like, I went to Walmart the other day, and it was playing on the speakers in the parking lot. And I'm like, oh my gosh, Bedazzled. It's the only place I've ever heard that song. And the Walmart parking lot.
Behind you.
Yeah.
Was everybody moving around you in fast motion?
And for some reason, I could see all of their sins in like a little text bubble.
Those are great. It just makes me think of, yes, I hate all of those people that they mentioned.
The best one is the freeloader.
I'm really curious what mine
baby.
Be.
Tips 5%.
What would yours be? Mine would be like cries a lot or something. I don't know.
Oh, let's see. What terrible aspect of myself do I want to bring up on a podcast?
Mine would be similar to Keenan's with the awkwardness.
Mine would be orders a whole pizza and eats it himself.
We're supposed to talk about bad things here.
I mean, I guess, but like, have you ever told somebody that, like, in a room that you eat a whole pizza and like the looks you get?
No, I've never had that happen.
Good, don't.
Never completed that feat.
Good, don't.
Well, I'm sorry if I look at you different now, but I'm going to look at you different now.
I can take it. My skin is thick. It's from the pizza.
Yeah.
It's real greased up, so all your insults just slip right off.
Perfect.
After rewatching this, one thing I picked up that I never really noticed, or at least didn't appreciate, was just how funny Brendan Fraser. Sorry,
there's mistake number one.
Fraser is, because like he acts differently with each character, but he's so funny as all of them.
And like I get it's a comedy movie, and the whole like premise of it is it's supposed to be funny, but like you're right, there's so many different kinds of comedy. Like just from the super sensitive guy to the basketball player guy, like those were both hilarious, but in different ways. And
even the articulate gay witty writer, he's like, when he sees his gay partner in the bed, and he says something to him, he's like, "Shut up, you dumb bitch," or something like that, which just cracked me up the way that he said it.
That wish specifically is like the only one I'm like, what's the problem? Like, you have everything, and in this version of him, he's not even attracted to her because he's gay. So what's the problem? Is because previous nerdy Brendan Fraser wanted to be with this one girl.
Yeah, no joke. I was literally thinking the same thing when I was watching it. I was like, he's got it. She finally like gave him a great wish.
Right. Like the current day, like smart, articulate Brendan Fraser wouldn't care that he had like missed his chance with her because he's not attracted to her because he is gay. So like, what? I don't know what the problem is. Like, if that was me, I would have been like, okay, like let me assess how I'm feeling here. But like, if you're gay, that's great.
I've gone through so many terrible wishes. This is perfect. I think I'm just going to chill here.
Right. The only thing wrong with it is that he was gay and he couldn't get it. Like
he's just not getting the one thing that he thinks
of course
he wants that he doesn't even get.
Right. And in that wish, he doesn't want it anymore. So what? I don't know what the problem is. So whatever.
Well, to be fair, I think he was more attracted than his partner. But he could have upgraded later on.
The guy had coconut head hair.
Yeah, I think that's what makes it so bad.
Yeah. It's funny too because like this movie came out in 2000, and I remembered that wish and how he turned out gay, and I'm like, oh, let's see, like, in today's culture, like you watch a lot of things and it doesn't hold up, but like I felt like they never took a low blow with him being gay, like they never like insulted it, like because you watch old movies and they like make fun of people for being gay, which is stupid, but because it's not a choice, it's your actual biology, but I don't think that they did that. The only thing is that they're like, oh, sorry, you're gay, you can't be with this girl anymore, which only previous Elliot cared about. So I don't know, I still think it kind of holds up. What do you guys think?
Yeah, when I was watching it, I was like, I was waiting for like somebody to say something where it's like cringy, but they really didn't. I mean, it was obviously stereotypical.
Sure, yeah.
But beyond that, I mean, it wasn't. I mean, again, 3 straight guys, so what do we know what's
right
offensive? But it didn't seem like it would have been offensive.
Like I try to listen a lot to other people and recap myself on what's offensive or not, and I feel like the only thing that maybe really could have maybe used some work is like the treatment of him in the very beginning when he was really awkward, because again, like it's something we know now, like he doesn't understand social cues, and like I know lots of people like that, and like we wouldn't treat them like making fun of them like he does, and I don't know, so that's really the only thing I could think of. But
right, and those friends of his kind of get theirs at the end when he has his little outbreak, which was great.
Right. He goes through 7 wishes, and he's just a different person all of a sudden.
Well, basically 7 lives.
Mm-hmm. So, what would you guys say is your you've seen all the wishes? Which one was your favorite Elliot of all the wishes?
Oh.
Big Mac.
Oh yeah, such a character development change.
It's not just a Big Mac; it's a Big Mac and a large Coke. And I don't know if you know this, but the Coke at McDonald's is 100% different from anywhere you get it.
It hurts.
Delicious. It truly is the work of the devil.
McDonald's Coke and McDonald's Sprite hurts. I'm gonna say that on record. Like, you ever drink one? It like physically hurts, but like in a good way.
I think you might be allergic, bud.
Like,
I think that full pizza really took
I didn't have a pizza today. You could like melt down metal with McDonald's Sprite. I'm just gonna say it right now.
I guess it's been a while.
September 11th.
That'll be our first YouTube video we do. Is us drinking McDonald's Coke and Sprite until we physically cannot.
Yeah, versus like a bottle of Sprite. Like, it's different, like the syrup to carbonation ratio or whatever. I don't know how that works.
I'm pretty sure that they've put it online that it's a different sugar or more sugar that they put into it at least.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. Anyways.
Sprite tangent.
If you are listening McDonald's and you would like to sponsor this podcast, please feel free to reach out.
I know we didn't say anything good other than Sprite hurts, but
that McDonald's Coca-Cola is really good.
It is pretty good, yeah. I'm just sad they got rid of that orange high C. That was my go-to.
Welcome to the McDonald's podcast. We are pivoting. But my favorite wish, probably the one I laughed most at on the rewatch, was the drug lord. Just from the moment he starts speaking and he's just like, I'm sorry, I don't speak Spanish. Wait, I'm speaking Spanish. And then when he finally realizes that he is a drug lord, and he's just like, what, we're having a tiff over sugar or flour? And he realizes it's Coke, and he just has like a breakdown, like, I'm a drug lord? Oh, of course I'm a drug lord.
Cocaine. That was great.
Oh, and the part that when he rips part of his mustache off. Oh, that makes me cringe.
On the third rewatch, I definitely look it away.
Oof.
I look it away.
Like I don't even have a mustache, and I just it just gives me the willies, if that's a word. What about you, Marcus? What's your favorite one?
I mean, the drug lord's really good. I mean, they're all really good. Obviously, I think the basketball is really good because the commentators crack me up the whole time, and then his interview when he's sweating all over the reporter.
I can agree with that because
he's just like dripping sweat forever.
Just like spitting and sweating and just like constant water coming out.
The only commentators in a movie that beat these is in Dodgeball. Second place, best.
Bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see how it pays off for him.
Welcome back to Justin Bateman podcast.
Did you say Justin Bateman?
Oh, Jason Bateman.
Gary Cole and Jason Bateman podcast.
Sister, Justine Bateman.
What were their names? I don't know why I remember this, but was it Pepper Brooks and Cotton McKnight, right?
You would remember better.
Yeah, that's it. I'm pretty sure that's it. I'm going to look it up after this and see if I was right. Because I remember bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if that pays off for him. That was probably my favorite line in that movie. Both good Elliots. I still think my favorite version of them all is super sensitive Elliot. In this rewatch, like one thing I noticed is that his teeth are really, really like narrow or like really. So I feel like he had some sort of retainer in or something that made his teeth look smaller. Because if you look at that next to his, they're not that small. So I don't know. And for a while, my Facebook cover photo was him looking at the sun and crying. It was just that scene was just so great. So, what's a darn thing gonna set? I just love that in all entirety, and like simply, I just wanted to see how it would play out if he just said he was a little more sensitive. Like, you don't need to be the most sensitive man in the world. I think anything to an extreme is absurd.
Yeah, you're going to find fault in any of the most categories.
Yeah, it's just I don't know.
Reminds me, like the Colombian drug lord one, he got the raw end of that deal because he didn't even get a chance to be himself with Allison. He just she just automatically hated him before he met.
Well, yeah, that, and then like in the same day, his like people are overthrowing him.
Well, to be fair to the devil, which I constantly do, he did say he wanted to be married. So true. I feel like that's faulting his wording that he would have to skip the entire getting to know you part.
True. One thing that was really funny is when my roommate showed me this when I first watched it, because he had the DVD, and on the DVD there was the special features. There's actually, I don't know if you guys knew this, you probably did. There's a deleted scene, and there's actually another wish that happens, and they took it out. And I'm just recalling it from memory, but it's right after I think one of the last wishes when he realizes he's gay. She comes in and she says, "No, it's not about this. Like women want men who like are bad boys. They want sex, drugs, and rock and roll." And so that's what he wishes for. And there's like a whole deleted scene.
Guy, right?
Yeah, he's like exactly like a Motley Crue guy. He sings on stage, and I'm like, oh, okay, wow. Like I wonder why they cut this. And then I'm watching the deleted scene, and like backstage, he's just like a total like asshole to everybody. And then like, what's her name? Michelle?
Allison.
Why can't I not remember? Yeah, she's there, and she like tries to overdose on pills, and like they have sex on the table, or like
Oh, is she like unconscious or something?
Yeah, and then like he dies momentarily. Like bring him back, and I'm like, the whole time I'm watching this, like I didn't laugh once. It was just like sad, and then I'm like,
Good
oh, okay,
cut. Jesus,
this is why they cut it. Yeah.
Well, I obviously I have some kind of memory of it. I remember the Motley Crue, like, parody kind of thing. But yeah, I can't. I don't remember much of it besides that. So I must have watched the deleted scene on like a DVD again when I was probably
it was
12 or 13. So
yeah, it was years ago when I watched it. I'm sure it's on YouTube somewhere if we wanted to watch it again. But I just remember being so uncomfortable with this wish, and then thinking, yeah, it was a good thing they cut this. I don't know what they were doing. But then again,
I feel like that's close to the basketball wish too. Like, be a bad boy. He's kind of a badass playing basketball. So
that's a good
I
point.
think it's just a good way to turn another wish into something.
That's a good point. But also, like, back to the basketball wish. So you have a small peen. Like, if you make that much money, you'll get people who don't care,
And I was going to say, too, speaking about making fun of things people can't control.
Right. I mean, I'm a little forgiving in this instance because she had full control over it. But yeah, no, I'm with you on that. She did him dirty. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
come on.
I just have this really super small thing I'm working on. Yeah.
I have a big project, a huge project I got to do tomorrow. So I gotta get out of here.
Well, you got to give it 110%.
I was just gonna say that, Dave. I was just gonna say, yeah, she really gave it 110% when she crafted that wish.
That's the mentality I want with this podcast, guys. I want to take it one pod at a time. I want to give it 110%.
Yeah.
Just
go out there, like you play as a team. Give it 110%.
I know we're not doing this on video chat, but I am crying right now. Inspired.
How many tears? Like the amount of sweat drops he had? Because I just love to have that visual of you just crying never-ending tears. That would be great.
It would just be Brendan Fraser as the sensitive guy with the sweat from the sports guy.
Perfect. And you said Fraser, so there's number 2.
Damn.
Never gonna. I'm just glad I'm not the only one at that point.
I did it for you. I didn't.
So one more piece of trivia I had down. It says at around an hour and 4 minutes, the mathematics homework that the devil removes from the classroom blackboard was effectively to prove Fermat's last theorem, a legendary problem from 1630 that was often the subject of stories about people selling their souls to solve it. The problem was eventually solved in 1995 by Andrew Wiles and colleagues with computer, not satanic assistance.
Yeah, but how they built that computer?
Satanic assistance, of course. Yeah.
Somebody sold their soul.
So that was supposed to be a difficult equation?
I didn't pay attention to it.
I solved it.
Oh, you solved it? Yeah.
In like 10 minutes. Just watching that scene. That's ridiculous.
Just PEMDAS, right? I mean, that's all you need to get.
That's all it is.
PEMDAS, yeah. It's
dum-dums.
So, all in all, I want to say about this movie is it was wild, it was fun, it was funny, but it did have a great message, I thought. And at the end of the movie, like I walked away, I was like, wow, that had a really good message to the people. If you can't be with the girl of your dreams, find someone that looks exactly like her. I'm sure it'll work out.
I was gonna say, for how funny this movie is, and I really do like it, and I'm glad it had a happy ending. That ending is not great.
I thought
just doesn't make sense.
Great.
Yeah. I thought it would have been so much better if she didn't look like her and she was just another random girl.
It would have been the perfect ending if it was just a different person.
Right.
Because he wasn't... He didn't need to be attracted to her. He was attracted to an idea of her, and then he meets somebody who actually is perfect.
Right.
For him.
And I would love to see in the future because obviously like the thought process is they start dating, obviously great, they're together. He like goes to a bar or something with the coworkers and runs into the original girl with the new one. Like, are they just going to ignore the fact that they look identical? Like, are we going to have a Parent Trap situation here? Like, what's going on with that?
I don't know. Parent Trap. I think right there, you just solved it.
We cracked the code behind Bedazzled.
Only took 20 years. We did it.
One more weird thing. I thought the President of the United States thing, we never really talked about that one yet.
True, yeah.
Funny, but also weird that like that would be his go-to for trying to help people.
It was funny because after the wish right before that, I was like, yeah, that's all the wishes I remember. He still has a wish left. What is it? And then he's like, I wish I was a president. I was like, oh, okay, I remember this one. It's very short. Like it's just kind of like an afterthought, yeah. But also
I can see this being a reshoot after them going, oh, you know what? We should probably get rid of the Motley Crue.
Ooh, that's a good point. I wonder if they did that and then like, oh, yeah, let's just come up with something else really quick, or if they already had it planned out.
I have my Abraham Lincoln costume right over here. Just throw him in it. We'll shoot something real quick and get out of here.
And his teeth were really jacked up there, so there was definitely a different retainer, or however they filmed that. I don't know.
And his teeth are like really big for the basketball player one, right?
They were, yeah. And he had like some weird little snaggle tooth on one side. Or something. I don't know what it was.
Oh, and it always grossed me out how bleached blonde his hair is.
Right.
I mean, I know I just talked about don't judging people, but it was just, as a 13-year-old kid, 12, 13, you're like, oh my gosh, that guy has super white hair. I think it's the eyebrows.
Yeah. I mean, I dye my hair that color sometimes on purpose, but like, I don't know. I just, it would be so weird to see someone with that natural hair color. I don't think I ever have.
I don't know if it's possible for that to be natural.
Yeah.
No, I really hope not.
If you have that natural hair color,
already apologizing. We don't mean to make you feel bad.
Have that natural hair color and you want to send us a picture, we're on Twitter at Rotten Gems Pod. Go ahead and snap a pic and send it to us, and
along with your hate mail, it's going to follow.
That's where you also correct your hate mail. Yeah. All right, guys. Anything to add before we move on to our next segment here?
Not really. I mean, I really just got the moral of the story is the devil is pretty cool.
And hot. I'm going to throw that out there. And also, God is in prison for some reason.
We completely skipped over that.
He's in prison for being black, obviously.
Yes. So it's funny
don't
because
worry about who I am. I'm definitely not God.
Well, it's funny because when I looked up the trivia for this movie, I read that he's actually not supposed to be, but just an angel. But that's not what I got from the movie.
See. I was gonna ask you guys that too, because when I was watching, I was like, "Is he God or just an angel?" But when they're playing chess at the end, I think that pretty much
that's what cemented it for me.
Yeah,
he is God,
right?
Because why else would she just be playing with some random angel? She is the devil playing chess with God.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was God the entire time until I read that thing, and I'm like, okay, well, that wasn't really conveyed in the movie. It doesn't really change the outcome of the movie, but I'm just like, okay, I much rather would prefer him to just be God in jail for some reason that we don't know. What crime would God commit?
Humanity.
True. I didn't ask to be born.
I mean, to be fair, what crime did Brendan Fraser commit? He really didn't
insanity
do anything.
Yeah. They just thought he was drunk, but they didn't even like test his blood or breathalyzer him or anything. Very believable. But, you know, plot device to meet God, so I forgave it. All right, guys. Well, we're on to our next segment here. This is one we like to call Bed, Wed, Behead, where we pick 3 characters and then, you know, this is a little hard to do for this movie since most of the characters are one person. But I'm going to just pick one of the Brendan Frasers. I'm going to go with Colombian drug lord, Brendan Fraser. So someone else pick another one.
Did you say Brendan Fraser?
I think I said Fraser, but I might have Fraser.
We'll count it as 3. That way we're 3. All even.
Cool. Sounds
That's good.
3. Sorry, Brendan.
The heat is on.
Okay. So did you pick one?
I picked the drug lord one.
All right. Well, then I say we just pick. Yeah, just pick more of his.
More of his wishes.
So I'll say the basketball player.
Okay.
All right. I don't want to make it too easy.
I feel like the 5th wish would be too easy.
Right. That's why I was avoiding that one. Let's go with sensitive.
Okay, so we have our 3 now. Let's establish some rules for this.
Yes, please.
Because I've seen versions of this played where wed means like you get to have all the sex you want with them, but then in something I read, you don't get to. So we need to just establish our own rules.
I think it makes better sense if you don't get to have sex with them, because then what's the point of the bed?
Well, I mean, thanks for letting everyone know what your marriage is like, Marcus, but you have 2 kids. So I'm going to say that you're wrong right there.
Kids.
That's right. You have 3 kids. I forgot.
There's Bart, Lisa, and the other one.
Lisa Jr.
So I propose that wed would mean that you have continuous, often sex.
But I don't think it makes any sense for the humor of the game.
I mean, bed you'd want to be with someone once just to see what wed is like. No, I'm locking this one down
for life.
For life. What do you think?
Know,
what do you think?
You're the tiebreaker.
You're the tiebreaker.
I agree with Brendan. That's multiple. That's a multiple times.
I don't know if you know this about Keenan. Married, kids.
So there's situation.
There's Bart, Lisa, and the other one.
And what was the other one? Yeah. Okay, so wed behead. We're saying wed means that you have continuous sex. We got drug lord, sensitive, and basketball player. What is our arrangement here?
Give me a second. This is tough. This is tough.
Personally, I feel like. Oh, go ahead, Marcus. Go ahead. I'm curious what you say.
Okay, I'm gonna go kind of gratuitous here. So I'm gonna go with. Obviously, I'm gonna kill sensitive guy because he is too sensitive. He is just. I think that would be way too frustrating to be around. If I had to, I would, under your guys' rules, I would bed the Colombian drug lord and wed the basketball player. And the reason is because, let's be honest, I'm a little guy. And if I'm the same-sex relationship here, I'm probably not going to be the top. So I want that little peen if I got to deal with anything.
Fair. Okay, I have an entirely different order, but what do you have, Keenan?
I'm different too. So I went. So along with Marcus's theory with the basketball, this time I went wed, just because I feel like I could probably take that my entire life, and I'm also going to have money.
Yeah.
I said.
Yeah, I wedded the basketball player.
Okay, and then for the sensitive, I said to bed, because I feel like he's really going to listen to me. He's going to take everything that I'm saying, and he's going to take care of me in that moment. And I feel like that's something that I need. And then behead the drug lord. Hugs, not drugs.
You know,
fair.
That you might have switched me on that.
Swayed you?
Because if you bed, you only got to deal with him once.
It's one and done.
So it's not like he's.
That's what I always say.
One and
said
done.
That once.
Said that once. Yeah, you're right. So you only have to deal with him once, and in that case, you would be the top. So
I'm slightly different from you here, Keenan. I actually chose behead basketball player and not anything peen related. But
weird that the guy that doesn't like sports kills off the basketball guy.
That's the reason. Yes, I don't want my life to revolve around sports.
You're going to be living your life at 100%. Marcus and I
110%
are going to be out here at 110%.
Also, like, okay, so sports is the kicker because I'm not a sports guy, so I don't want my life to revolve around sports. But also, you saw how much he sweat during that interview. Guys, we live in Arizona. Like, I'm going to wake up and the bed's going to be drenched with sweat.
Hey,
I already do that.
We live wherever he plays, and that's San Francisco.
I guess. So, yeah, I'm sticking with behead on him. I'm going to go with bed sensitive guy because, you know, like, I don't want to be around that forever, but you got to see what it's like. And then wed Colombian drug lord. Did you see his house? It was beautiful. Like, I'm going to just say that I would wed the character and not like in the middle of getting shot at version of him, because I'm pretty sure like it ended badly for him, but like his wife ended up just fine, you know? So
yeah, you're right. All the movies that I've seen with like drug lords, they always turn out okay.
Exactly. What could go wrong? That's exactly the point I'm making. I'm glad that you agree. So, all right. Brings us to our next segment, guys. And this game has been referred to as a few things. I've heard it as most commonly 6 degrees of separation or 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon. But instead, we're going to do someone from this movie. We're gonna not do the main character of the movie because that's too easy. But instead, we're going to do 6 degrees of Elizabeth Hurley. And I just pulled up, like I just Googled random celebrity generator. And I'll pull up the first one we have here, and that is Keira Knightley.
Buckle up, everybody. Here we go.
So we're going to try to do this together. It's not going to be 6 steps. It's going to be double digits for sure. Someone keeping track here?
Yeah, I'll start writing.
All right, so I'll go with Elizabeth Hurley to Mike Myers in Austin Powers, whichever one she was in.
The first one.
The first one.
Yes. Take it away, Keenan.
Keira Knightley. Whoa. Mike Myers was in the Cat in the Hat with Alec Baldwin.
I forgot about that movie.
Most people try.
True.
Alec Baldwin was in Beetlejuice with, I'm going to go with Winona Ryder.
Ooh, okay. Winona Ryder was in Mr. Deeds with Adam Sandler.
So to take it back to Brett's problem with Tom Cruise, Adam Sandler happens to be one of my least favorite actors. Can't think of many of her movies. I'm just gonna maybe widen this up a little bit with Adam Sandler was in Little Nicky with Reese Witherspoon.
Oh yeah, she was one of the angels. His mom, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, all I can think of is Legally Blonde. I don't know who else is in that movie. It's like, Reese Witherspoon was in 4 Christmases with Vince Vaughn.
Who she did not like, by the way. I remember.
Oh, in real life?
Yeah, no, like on the set. I think they just didn't like each other on that set. I remember a Watch Mojo thing I watched a while ago, and like that was one of the movies that came up. So anyway, Vince Vaughn. Okay, I know a way to do this, but it's just a matter of if you guys do. We're gonna go to Vince Vaughn.
Nope.
we're gonna go Vince Vaughn to Justin Long in Dodgeball.
All right. Trying to see if I can figure out where you're connecting this.
I'm trying to think of any Caroline Knightley movie. I mean, besides Pirates.
I mean, if that's what you got, go with it. Pirates, right?
Yeah. There's another movie that Keira Knightley was in that I absolutely love.
So Justin Long was in Dodgeball with...
I just went through Dodgeball.
Not Dodgeball.
Okay.
Dang. Okay. Justin Long was in Idiocracy with... I can't catch his name. Dax Shepard.
Dax Shepard. Ooh. Way to make it
What was
difficult.
he in Idiocracy? I don't remember.
Dax Shepard?
No, Justin Long.
Oh, he was the doctor. Yeah, I'm looking at your chart here, and your shit's all fucked up. And
oh yeah, Keenan. What are we doing here? I can only go.
I can honestly say I do not know.
I can only go one way, and it's definitely not going to be Brett's way.
It's not, but I'll see if we can connect it to the way that you guys.
I'm gonna go the easy route here and say Luke Wilson.
By what connection?
Oh, okay, never mind. Sorry. All right, then I will go with.
No pressure.
Seth Green. Without a paddle.
Without a paddle. Jeez. Okay.
Which is basically
great, guys. Great, guys. We're back to Austin Powers.
We did it.
Okay, fine. I'm gonna take this. Which way do I want to take this? Seth Green. Let's go Scooby-Doo 2 with Matthew Lillard.
Also in Without a Paddle.
Oh yeah, you're right. Why did I forget about that?
Matthew Lillard was in an amazing movie called Hackers with Angelina Jolie.
Okay, we're getting somewhere. We're getting somewhere.
Oh, I got it. I know how to solve this. All right. I think I never saw the movie, but I'm pretty sure Angelina Jolie was in The Tourist with Johnny Depp.
And Johnny Depp was in Pirates of the Caribbean with Keira Knightley. Boom.
There you go.
We did it.
How many steps was that, Marcus?
14 degrees.
14 degrees of Elizabeth Hurley.
I was really hoping to find a way to go through Love Actually.
So my way was through Star Wars because I don't know if you knew this, but Natalie Portman was Padme, but Knightley was her
fake Padme.
double. Yeah, exactly. I was trying to get to Samuel L. Jackson. So when I said Justin Long, I was hoping you would go Justin Long to Live Free or Die Hard with Bruce Willis, and then Bruce Willis to any Tarantino movie. With
Sam Jackson is the cheat code of this game.
he basically is. Yeah, for sure. Good job, guys. 14. We'll see if we can beat that next time.
We will.
We will not. That's going to be our average.
Mean make it way worse.
That is going to be our average. We should keep stats on that, like 14. Right now, our average is 14 because one.
We'll have our fans do that. We don't need to.
Yeah.
Get our hands dirty with stat work.
Rotten Gem stats. Yeah.
Which, in reality, right now is us.
Yes. All right. So I don't think it's any secret that we love this movie. So let's make fun of people who didn't like it. So this is where we will pick out our best bad review from Rotten Tomatoes and read it and just lay into them. Who wants to go first?
I'll go. Okay, so I have a quote from some bozo from the Chicago Sun-Times. The quote is, "It is lacking in wickedness. It doesn't smack its lips when it's naughty." All I have to say about this no-name guy is that he'll never make it in this critic business. Because
there's no way with a review like that.
He used the words, "it doesn't smack his lips." He probably thought he was so smart and funny and witty when he said that.
Successful.
Yeah.
No chance.
Guess what this dumb name is?
What is it?
Roger Ebert.
Never heard of him.
What kind of name is that?
Never heard of
him. That's no Hollywood name, I'll tell you that much.
You just don't got it, kid.
Yeah. I can't believe it. Well, I mean, I can, but just sad. Right. Just sad. You're up, Keenan.
All right. So to give you a little background on the critic that I pulled, James Berardinelli.
That's a fake name.
He is this type of critic. Before I go into his review of Bedazzled, this is what he reviewed. One of the most amazing movies of 2019, Fast and Furious presents Hobbs and Shaw. He says, he gives this movie 2.5 out of 4. There's a problem with the kinds of bloated action sequences that form the skeleton, muscle, and flesh of something like Hobbs and Shaw. A lack of excitement? What movie did you watch, sir? But back to Bedazzled. He says, not only is this film persistently unfunny, but it is consistently uninvolving. Again, are you watching these movies at all?
Did we watch the same movie?
Is hilarious. Maybe you watched the original?
You watched the Dudley Moore one?
What is wrong with him? We watched the same movie, and I thought this movie was hilarious.
Non-stop laughter.
I felt like it was really wicked and it smacked its lips when it was naughty, you know?
I feel like I should have kept a count of how many times I was just like, ooh, my lips, I just smacked them again.
Yeah. Guys, should we rewatch it one more time
so
and count the lip smacks?
Let me get some lip
smackers,
and I'll be good. I'll be good to go.
I think it's just called lip smackers. I got one. It's from James Sanford from, get this, the Kalamazoo Gazette, which does not sound like anything that I would want to visit or read. But James Sanford, here's what he has to say. He says, curiously, the new version omits much of the material that made the first movie so memorable, including the nuns on trampolines and replacing it with gags that probably seemed much funnier on paper than they are on screen. First of all, James, fuck you.
Fuck you.
But also, this is my least favorite type of review of a movie. Whenever there's a movie that's a sequel or a remake and people can't watch it for the movie that it is and strictly just compare it to the original. So, like, his whole review is just like, oh, it wasn't as good as the original. That's great. Watch it for the movie it is. And I hate you, James, and this movie was great. So
maybe we need to go back and watch the original.
I think we need to, actually. Maybe we should do that and then report back. Probably.
That's for our second podcast.
What would that one be called? Rotten Rewatches. I don't know.
That's gold.
I think that wraps us up, guys.
TM.
So that is Bedazzled, which again scored 49% on Rotten Tomatoes by critics. Yes, critics believe that Michael's Transformers was a better movie than this one. That one comes in at 58%, which if you're asking me, is generous.
You make me sick, critics.
Disgusting critics.
Just disgusting.
Who do you think you are? Where do you
get off?
Which actually is a great segue into our little thing that we want to say here, and that's join us next time when we talk about the lovable movie Hot Rod. If you haven't seen that, it's starring Andy Samberg, and it's hilarious and probably one of my favorite comedies of all time. Really excited for that one. So we'll see you next time. Quick shout out to everyone that made it through this podcast. Thank you for sticking with us, and wanted to actually thank the band Forget the Whale for permission to use their on the pod. It is our theme song and exit song. I chatted with the bass player Dan. He's a pretty cool dude, so please give them a follow on Spotify, Facebook, Instagram. That's Forget the Whale. And yeah, they're pretty dope. And we'll see you next time when we talk about Hot Rod. Until then, what do we say, fellas? Stay rotten, all you gems.
That's what we say?
Do we say that?
That's what we say now.
Keep it rotten.
Catch you on the flippity flop.
Nice.
Keep it rotten. When's that dang sun gonna set?